Imagine a world where a cup of tea could ignite a revolution. That's what happened in Boston, 1773. The Boston Tea Party wasn't just about tea, it was a boiling point of resentment and resistance. Picture this: the British East India Company, a major player in the global tea trade, was granted the right to sell tea in the American colonies without paying taxes. This didn't sit well with the colonists, not one bit. Now add to this the heavy taxes imposed by the British government. It was like pouring salt on an open wound, and it didn't help that there was cheaper smuggled tea readily available. It was a perfect storm. The colonists were left feeling exploited and overlooked. Their resentment was brewing, and the stage was set for a protest that would echo through the pages of history. So, on the cold night of December 16, 1773, a group of protesters decided to take matters into their own hands. On that fateful night, the Sons of Liberty disguised as Native Americans made their move. The date was December 16, 1773. The place, Boston, Massachusetts. The air was thick with anticipation and the quiet whispers of rebellion. Under the cover of darkness, these audacious men stealthily boarded the East India Company's ships, their hearts resolute, their purpose clear. This wasn't just about tea. It was a bold statement against the unjust taxes imposed by the Townshend Acts and the Tea Act of 1773. Their gripe was not with the tea itself, but with the principle it represented, a principle of domination and control. With a determined fervor, they proceeded to destroy an entire shipment of tea. One by one, the crates were flung into the harbor, the dark waters swallowing the symbols of British imperialism. The night echoed with the splashes, each one a sound of defiance, a sound of protest. As dawn broke, news of the audacious act spread like wildfire, sparking a range of reactions. The British government was infuriated. They saw this act as a direct attack on their authority, a blatant act of treason. The American colonists, on the other hand, felt a surge of pride, of unity. The seed of revolution had been sown. The British government saw this and responded harshly, setting the stage for a larger conflict. The Boston Tea Party was more than just a protest. It was a defining moment in American history. In the wake of this audacious act, the British government was quick to respond, and not with leniency. They enacted what the colonists would bitterly refer to as the Intolerable Acts. These stringent measures were designed to punish the rebellious colonists and reassert British control. But rather than quell the revolutionary spirit, these acts only fanned the flames. The Boston Tea Party had struck a chord. It was no longer just about the high taxes on tea or the monopoly of the East India Company. This act of defiance had become a rallying cry for liberty. The colonists, united in their outrage, began to accelerate their support for independence. The Boston Tea Party had created a spark that was rapidly growing into a full-fledged revolution. As we reflect on the significance of the Boston Tea Party, it's clear that it was more than just an act of rebellion against unfair taxation. It was a challenge to the very authority of the British Parliament over the American colonies. This audacious act set the stage for the American Revolution, shaping the future of a nation that would come to embody the spirit of freedom and resistance. This event would go down in history as an iconic moment of resistance. It was a testament to the determination of the American people to fight for their rights and liberties. And so, a shipment of tea became a symbol of resistance, a spark that ignited the flame of revolution. Here's a fun fact about the Boston Tea Party that you might not know. Can you imagine the quantity of tea dumped into the harbor that night? Well, it was enough to fill about 18 million teacups. This wasn't just a symbolic act of defiance, but also quite an expensive one. In today's money, the cost of the destroyed tea would be close to $1 million. So the next time you sip on a cup of tea, remember the Boston Tea Party and how it changed the course of history.